Every problem is an opportunity in disguise. I think this was said by John Adams. Have you really come to that point in your life where you are able to be in a situation that is challenging for you, frustrating, and to step back and think about what is the opportunity here? I'm uncomfortable, I'm not pleased, but for some reason now there's something new that I'm not seeing or learning. And as I've talked a lot before about the fact that when you change, you learn, and when you're learning, you change. So here we are in COVID-19, it's difficult. All of us, I don't think there would be anyone who isn't having to adjust and is dealing with many different feelings about being forced into this change, which is unintentional. We just have to react and respond to it. But I'd like to talk to you a bit about, how this is connected with your whole life, throughout your whole life, not just now. And tapping into a positive mindset. Everything, of course, is in degree. It's been more difficult now, obviously, to make the adjustments. But you're always, throughout your life, going to be faced with different kinds of adjustments and problems. So this negative mindset that we all have, it's actually a constant battle throughout our lives that we may fall into this kind of negative mindset. It's actually there in a way to protect us, so that sometimes we see the pitfalls and things, that we are looking for the cautions, what should we be aware of to protect us. But as we know, that can get certainly out of hand, and that we fall into just a bigger negative mindset. And it's gone beyond this sort of warning system into being pervasive about how we look at life and look at a lot of things. And so this idea and concept, of course, that many of us have experienced is a positive mindset. And how do we then look at this situation we're in COVID-19 and pull out of that the positives? What are the opportunities for us to learn? Is there a different way of looking at life? Just because it's been a certain way for a certain number of years, does that mean that that is the only way? Certainly it wasn't that way 20 years ago, it wasn't that way 50 years ago, it wasn't that way 100 years ago. Life is always changing, society is always changing, the earth is always changing, the universe is always changing. So having this sort of a static point of view that, well, I like it this way and it's got to stay that way, is really quite sort of faulty logic, isn't it? That you find something that's comfortable and you just want to continue it, and that's the way it is. But of course, that's human nature, isn't it? That we avoid discomfort. Getting out of our comfort zone isn't easy. But so I really suggest to you that take a little time to write down what are the problems you're facing now. Make that list. And then, beside each problem, think about, well, what is the opportunity for me here to learn, to do differently? What could I do differently? What are my choices? So to recap, it's looking at, that balance between a positive mindset and a negative mindset. Really looking at what we perceive now to be problems as opportunities. And taking the time to really reflect on these daily problems, these larger problems, and see how we can turn it around. I wish you well. I hope you'll find your inner peace and that you'll remember to stay strong.